Welcome to the studio, Laura.
Well, thank you. Thanks. I'm Laura Olson, and my business is Tried and True Digital Marketing, and we help businesses with their online presence through various marketing strategies.
Oh, wonderful. Whenever someone thinks of marketing, we often think of how to get found. So, what would you say if someone asked you, Laura, how do I get found?
It depends on the type of business, but generally speaking, a business will have a website, they'll have a Google business profile, some social media presence, and that really is the best way to get found. But it's more than just having those things, it's how do you use them as good tools to market your business, right? So we've got a number of different strategies that we use that really help enhance that view online. As you know, there are so many businesses out there, and everyone is clamoring for attention and have competitors. So we really work to find out what their goal is and what are the best options for them in terms of getting their presence out there. So, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. One of the things that always comes up is you mentioned that it depends on what type of business you have. So, who do you typically serve, or who is your best person that you serve?
Yeah. So our ideal client is a small to mid-sized business. We like to work with smaller businesses from 1 to 50 employees, but you have a marketing a budget that they can reinvest back into their business. But we have found that a lot of small businesses don't really know what they need from a marketing standpoint, or they're doing something, but it's not producing results. So we've got some pretty unique ways to identify what their online presence looks like, how their website is performing, where they're showing up online, and we can do that baseline to get an evaluation of how are they currently performing, and then from there we can make some recommendations.
Ooh, evaluation. That just kind of makes me shiver a little bit in terms of, oh, what are people thinking about me? So, can you share a little bit more about what's in this evaluation and how a business owner could look at their website from your lens?
Yeah, so great question. When we evaluate, we do it in the nicest way. We've been told that, we can tell a business owner that their baby looks ugly, but be really nice about it. So it works out pretty good. But what we do when we do that was the question was the evaluation, right? How do we do
Correct.
that?
Yes.
So we have an ability to do an SEO audit or a search engine optimization audit of a website. And that is comprised of 8 different elements that all contribute to the overall score, but they're weighted differently. So there are things like, how well optimized is the content on the website? How fast are the pages loading? What do their reviews look like? And how do they compare against their competitors? So we take a look at all that. And then we also look at a Google business profile, which is also called a business page or Google My Business. And that's another really important element from marketing that is often overlooked. So most business owners, they should, if they don't, have a profile so that when people are searching, that'll pop up first and they can see some of the key elements of that business. And but there's ways to optimize that. So we can work through that. And then we look at that social presence to say, are you posting on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn? Are those the appropriate platforms? Should they be showing up somewhere else? That sort of thing. So we do a full analysis. It's complimentary, but it really gives a good sense of how that business is performing and allows us to make recommendations on what they might do. Not that they would necessarily work with us because marketing is very broad, and we specialize in websites, search engine optimization, paid ads, and social media. But for somebody who needs something different, a whole new branding strategy or a new logo or something like that, we have referral partners that we can work with to help with those things. So.
It sounds very helpful, and nobody likes to hear that their website baby is ugly. So I appreciate that you shared that piece of it. How did you get into this line of work?
So a few years, well, almost 4 years ago now, my husband and I were both had different careers. So he is a guitar instructor. We have a studio in our home. He's taught guitar for years. I come from a healthcare industry background. And in that capacity, I did a lot of leadership roles, but I had an indirect line to marketing. So I got to collaborate and do a lot of fun things in marketing. But as happens in careers, I got burned out and was looking for something different. At the same time, my husband, with his guitar instruction, has a website and had a marketing company out east. He was kind of a small fish in that big pond and really wasn't taken care of real well. And so at the same time that I was looking for something, he ran into some issues with his website. And during the course of conversation, we realized if that was happening to him as a small business owner, how many other small business owners have that kind of an impact? So we wanted to do something together. We did a ton of research. We got educated. We employed a consultant who specialized in helping marketing agencies get started, and we opened our doors. So a lot of trial and error on the way, but we had a great coach, or we have a great coach, and then other people in the marketing space who work as a cohort. So we've learned a ton, and we've been able to grow our business pretty successfully. So yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. I love that you did your research, you did some looking into what the needs were of the market, and then you just kicked it off and partnered with your husband, which is an amazing story. Can you share a little bit in those early days of your business, as you think back, what is a turning point or perhaps a really awesome study of a client that you worked with that really changed it for you in terms of how you serve people?
Yeah. So, anytime I think somebody starts a business, there's always a sense of uncertainty. I don't like the word imposter syndrome, but there's part of that because you feel like I haven't been doing this for 25 years and, who's going to want to work with me? What we found though, making sure that we were surrounding ourselves with people who are educated, who knew the work, who could help provide some guidance was super helpful. So early on, as we started our business and we started bringing on clients, it was great. It was kind of hit or miss. In the early days, our services were more than just the four that we provide: the website, SEO, ads, and social media. We also were doing logos, and we were doing other different types of ads, and we were spread way too thin. And we realized, no, we're really good at these things, so let's focus our efforts on that. So one of our first clients, our first, I guess, really sense of success is a client that we had contracted with for a year, and the year was coming up, and things were going really well, but we were like, okay, we have to have a talk to continue. And before we could even do that, the client reached out to us and said, "Hey, you guys are doing great. We want to renew with you another year," before we even had to ask the question. So that really helped build the confidence, but also validated that we knew what we were doing and we were doing a good job.
Yeah, it really demonstrates the power of niching, right? In the beginning, you offered so many suite of services and you realize, oh no, we really want to focus on where our strengths are lying, which is, I'm sure, what many of us business owners can relate to. What piece of advice would you give a business owner regarding their marketing? Something you're noticing that's common amongst your clients, maybe?
Uh, y- I would say that it's really important to not underestimate the power of having a marketing strategy. Some business owners, and especially when they're small and getting started, they don't have a huge budget and they can't invest in it, you know, too significantly. But you need to start somewhere, and for most businesses, they need to have a specific strategy on how they're gonna get their leads, how they're gonna get the word out about their services, and that's something that we really like to work with and help advise them on. But to be successful in a business, you've gotta have a marketing budget too. So that's part of, as a new business owner, they need to make sure that they're allocating something to be able to reinvest back into their business to continue to grow. Otherwise, they're gonna kinda continue to, maybe just, tread water. So,
That brings up an interesting point because I don't think a lot of us consider marketing budget
yeah.
as its own bucket, so to speak. So, would you, if you wouldn't mind throwing out some numbers, what would be an good example of a marketing budget for a newer business owner, or either as a percentage or as a flat number? What might that look like?
General rule of thumb is about 20% of your revenues, which sounds like a lot, and
Yes.
especially it is, yeah, especially for a new business, a small business owner. So, but sort of best practice, that's roughly where that's at. Now, again, there's different things you can do, and as you grow, you can go from there. Since we work with small to mid-sized businesses, especially ones that are just getting started, they're not 20% of their revenues is going to be a big chunk, right? So we again, evaluate what their goals are, what makes the most sense. We have some cost-effective solutions, but a business owner has to realize that, marketing, you kind of get what you pay for. So you don't have to spend thousands and thousands a month, but I would recommend as a new business, if you can allocate at least $500 to $1,000 a month as you get started, that's going to help kick you off a little bit better. But every business is different and what their needs are, so it can vary.
20%.
I know.
That
Ouch.
20% is hurting.
Yeah.
Um, so let's go back a little bit because you mentioned that part of your strategy involves SEO and social media and things like that. I would really love to dive into this and let me know if this is a discussion that you are just tired of having because I'm not in the marketing space. Is Facebook dead? Are other social platforms dead? Because we've all heard battling the social media algorithms, trying to get noticed. The reach is not there. What would you say to that conversation, if anything?
Yeah, it is tricky. Social media is important. It's part of getting your visibility out there, but with so many platforms available, a business owner wants to be smart about which social platforms that they use. So, certain industries, may be more appropriate for LinkedIn, like a professional type of a business, and thinking about where your customers are coming from or who you're trying to target. There's a whole strategy around social media in our business. We focus on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. With the Facebook and Instagram, it's the Meta Business Suite.
Yes.
So there's some conveniences, or it's kind of easy to post, and because they're similar, and it's a little bit easier. LinkedIn is a really good platform for professional. TikTok is super effective, and with the right market, it's really fun. We don't focus on that. There are
Okay.
other marketing agencies that focus more specifically on those other platforms and have really good strategies around it. We've chosen not to delve into, those other ones. So our focus is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. But there again, depending on the industry, we'll recommend, hey, you really need to be on LinkedIn because your target audience lives in that space. Facebook, people kind of joke it's for those of us who are a little bit older of a certain age, which is fine. So then if you're going after a younger demographic, you're going to want to make sure that you're maybe looking at TikTok or maybe looking at Instagram or some of those other things. So that's a whole strategy in and of itself. But it's a good question. I would say it's not dead. You just have to find the right living arrangement for it. So
The right living arrangement. I love that. Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm probably of the right age to be on Facebook anyway. So it's a moot point for me. But now you mentioned that you and your husband are in this business together. Now, not everyone is well equipped to work with their family members. So can you tell us a fun story about how you two partner together or who picks up and the other leaves off, what that might look like?
We are fortunate. So we've been married for 35 years. So we know each other pretty well. And we know our strengths and our weaknesses. So he's got a certain skill set that he focuses on in our business, and I do as well. So that works pretty good. For the most part, I would say he's over there, so I can get the thumbs up, right? But yeah, I mean, it's really just a matter of being clear about who's responsible for what, who's got the skill set to maybe go into a an event and do the speaking, or someone who's very organized and can really do a good relational one-on-one with one of our prospects. Phil is really good relating with people, and so we play off each other really well.
Oh, that's good to hear.
We always have
There's
our moments, there's always those little times, but overall it works really good.
some quiet fights, but nothing too major, right?
Right.
You would expect that after 30 plus years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if someone listening, Laura, today wanted to take the first step with you with tried and true digital marketing, what should they do?
Well, I would love to have anyone reach out to us, a business owner who's curious about marketing. Maybe they don't know where to start. Maybe they've been working with an agency they're not, and they're not seeing a lot of results. Again, we offer a complimentary baseline assessment that does an overall analysis of website, online presence, and social media, just across the board. And then we take a look at that, share that with them, and make recommendations. And if we can work with them, we'd love to. If not, we're just there to provide value because we really do want to help business owners. So
Wonderful. So take the free digital assessment.
Yes.
Learn more about how you can improve and how your baby can be even more beautiful. Your
Yes.
website baby. But thank you so much for sharing today, Laura.